Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's lesson is a clear and concise overview of the tenses in English grammar. This chart provides examples of sentences in the simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous tenses across the present, past, and future timelines. Let's dive in. Section 1. Simple tenses. Let's start with the simple tenses. In the present simple, we say, I drive a car. The structure is subject plus verb 1 plus object. For negatives, I do not drive a car. And for questions, do I drive a car? Moving to past simple, we say, I drove a car. The verb changes to V2. For negatives, I did not drive a car. And for questions, did I drive a car? For future simple, we use will, I will drive a car. The structure is subject plus will plus verb 1 plus object. For negatives, I will not drive a car. And for questions, will I drive a car? Section 2. Continuous tenses. Now, let's look at the continuous tenses where the action is ongoing. In the present continuous, we use am/is/are plus verb plus ing. Example, I am driving a car. For negatives, I am not driving a car. And for questions, am I driving a car? Past continuous, we use was/were plus verb plus ing. Example, I was driving a car. For negatives, I was not driving a car. And for questions, was I driving a car? Future continuous, we use will be plus verb plus ing. Example, I will be driving a car. For negatives, I will not be driving a car. And for questions, will I be driving a car? Section 3. Perfect tenses. Next up are the perfect tenses, which highlight completed actions. In the present perfect, we use has/have plus verb 3. Example, I have driven a car. For negatives, I have not driven a car. And for questions, have I driven a car? In the past perfect, we use had plus verb 3. Example, I had driven a car. For negatives, I had not driven a car. And for questions, had I driven a car? In the future perfect, we use will have plus verb 3. Example, I will have driven a car. For negatives, I will not have driven a car. And for questions, will I have driven a car? Section 4. Perfect continuous tenses. Finally, let's talk about the perfect continuous tenses, which show an action continuing over time. Present perfect continuous, we use has/have plus been plus verb plus ing. Example, I have been driving a car. For negatives, I have not been driving a car. And for questions, have I been driving a car? Past perfect continuous, we use had plus been plus verb plus ing. Example, I had been driving a car. For negatives, I had not been driving a car. And for questions, had I been driving a car? Future perfect continuous, we use will have plus been plus verb plus ing. Example, I will have been driving a car. For negatives, I will not have been driving a car. And for questions, will I have been driving a car? Conclusion. And that's it. We've covered all the tenses in English grammar in a clear and easy way. Make sure to practice these structures and examples to improve your fluency. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more English lessons. See you in the next one.